Well, hello there. It's the 16th day of June 2022. Many thanks for joining us for another episode of The Disruption live on the Citizen TV Facebook page. We're glad that you found time to be here with us today. And we've got quite an interesting topic lined up for you. You've heard the expression that cash is king, but in the times that we live in, is cash still king, with online payments still growing at an exponential rate? That's a discussion we want to get into today. And even as you think about how online payments can work for you, how can you protect yourself as you deal in this era of online payments and protect your consumers from fraudsters? And also, what are some of those e-payment misconceptions that maybe hold some of you back from participating in this? That's what we're discussing today, and I've got a very competent panel to help us walk through this. So please send us your questions and your comments on the chat section of the Citizen TV Facebook page, and I'll read them even as we carry on with this broadcast. But let me tell you who's here with me in studio. We have Joy Kuria. She's the e-commerce merchant manager at Equity Bank Limited. Joy, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Waihiga. Thank you.
We're joined also by Ronald Mutuku. He's the CEO of Silco Limited. Ronald, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Waihiga.
And also Nelly Movin, Head of Financial Services East Africa at Jumia. Nelly, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Waihiga.
So let's dig straight into it. And, you know, the term online payments, and I think I'll start with you, Joy, on this one. It's pretty common right now, but a basic definition of online payments and how it's changed from what was viewed as online payments 10, 15 years ago to today, what would you say that is?
Yeah, that's true. Online payments for the longest time were thought to be payments for large enterprises, and we mainly, when we thought about online payments, we thought about card. But now we have various alternatives when it comes to online payments, and that's why we are here today to just talk about them, talk about, of course, the mobile money, card, PesaLink, and so many others that we hope to speak about today and have an engagement on.
We're told in the future they might put a chip in your hand, and that's how you pay. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but we don't have to right now. Let me hear from Ronald Mutuku, who is the CEO of Silco Limited. Before we talk a bit about how online payments has impacted your company, just give us a brief history of Silco Limited for those who are not familiar with it.
Basically, Silco is a tech company. It's an innovation from the COVID times, where we got to get a lot of issues in terms of the real estate, where people were unable to make payments. They were unable to reconcile, to get receipts from the landlords. And that's when Silco came in. Silco so helps communication in terms of payments, reconciliation, billings. So whereby you want to make your payments, you just go to your mobile phone and get your receipts and get your, communication with your landlord. So we just bring technology to your phone to be able to do the normal payments for your house.
I see. And what has the adoption rate been like? Are people quick to accept this different form of payments, or have you faced a challenge with that?
Basically, the generation we are living in at the moment is a quick generation. They've grown up from their phones. They want everything on their phones. They've had to accept now the online payments when it comes to M-Pesa. Because as my colleague here, Joy, has mentioned, before people thought online payments is just for the rich. But now when M-Pesa came into play, now people get to interact with payments from their phones, from everywhere they are. So basically, they accepted this new way of payment because it's easier and it's reliable and it's effective for their payments.
Okay, thank you for that. We're also joined by Nelly Movin, who's the Head of Financial Services East Africa for Jumia. Nelly, I doubt there's anyone watching us who doesn't know what Jumia does, but I can give you a minute to just refresh their memories.
So Jumia is an e-commerce platform that leverages technology to bring convenience to consumers. And today, anything you can think about, you probably will find it on Jumia. So you can buy your phones, buy your food products, buy your beauty products, all of that on Jumia, as well as supermarket items.
Oh, and this is, of course, across several African countries.
Yes, this is across 11 countries. We are in sub-Saharan Africa mainly, and also in the North Africa region of Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia.
So let's be honest. Would Jumia as an idea have been possible without the technology that underpins online payments? in your view?
So in my view, we had to actually start from scratch. So we started from a point where online payments was almost non-existent and people didn't trust that. So we came in and worked with lots of partners in the market in order to create this reality that we have today. So while its existence would have has made life much easier, we still started without it being the way it is today.
Okay. Joy, coming in off the back of that, Nelly speaks of online payments existence making life easier. Talk to us specifically about the benefits of online payments from where you sit.
All right. Online payments have a great benefit when it comes to business and, of course, the profitability in business. Online payments will give you so many advantages, and one is the convenience, the kind of convenience that you're exposed to and you're able to enjoy when you can make a payment through, for example, Jumia or Silco. You can actually make payments to any, make your normal payments if you're paying for real estate, your rent collection. You can do it at the comfort of your home if it's Jumia, and all the other businesses. If you have a business, for example, that you're running, your customers can be able to make their payments on their phone, on their laptops, anywhere across the world. It also creates some form of transparency because there's always evidence when it comes to payments. We'll all agree that for you in business, if you ever want to approach any bank or financial partner for any credit and after-sales service, when you have good record keeping and transparency when it comes to your collections, online payments will give you that. Of course, we also look at the how instant payments are done within a fraction of a second. You can already, the merchant you're paying to or the business you're paying to as a consumer has already received this payment. So there's so many benefits when you talk about, online payments. And it has opened a large conversation in the fintech industry when we talk about the convenience and the trends that are coming up, which include, trying to see how can you be able to bring in, payment options or solutions that your consumer wants. We'll talk about them, and I believe Silco will even mention, how you pay slowly, the buy now, pay later, and many others, which I believe Waihiga will be able to have a chance to talk about in this show.
I'll actually come back to you for that as well. But let me hear from Ronald, from your company's perspective, and for people who are watching who are running startups, companies that are a year, 2 years old, what have been the benefits on your end of adopting online payments?
I think one of the things is speed. So in terms of, I want to make a payment, and I want that payment to go to the person who is who is supposed to receive the money. So based on that, the speed and then the efficiency of it. Remember, when people used to carry cash, they were exposed to one. They can be the money can be taken from them. And then the time they have to go and find somewhere where maybe a bank to go and make a payment. But now you don't need to leave your jobs which you are doing. Say, for example, you're a student. Say, for example, you're working. You can just make your payments when you're still writing an email. So you just go to your mobile phone, make a payment. So that speed of execution, that speed of making that payment has been improved, actually has been sorted out. And then number two, in terms of fraud, being able to lose the money in the process. I know online has its own disadvantages, but still it's much more secure and efficient because compared to manual processes. And gone are the days whereby you have to carry cash around in bags trying to make small payments. Now, with the technologies we are having now, it's everything you can do within a second. You can carry 1 million shillings in your phone, which if you would have told our grandparents that you could carry 1 million shillings in your phone, they would actually think it's something out of this world. But at the moment, it has happened, and it's something which is telling us the more the technology is coming up, the more we are getting more and easier and better options to make payments.
And Nelly, on the back of what Ronald has spoken of, a viewer here is a big fan of Jumia, it seems. Joseph Mayeka says your company has made life easier. The price of goods for you is flat countrywide, plus a little courier charges. And he's saying keep it up. But Nelly, off the back of what Ronald has spoken to, having $1 million shillings on your phone, it sounds like a good idea. But from a safety perspective, there are many challenges around that. Talk to us about the journey that Jumia has navigated around safety and online payments.
Yeah, it's very true, and thanks Joseph Mayeka for the compliments of Jumia. But it's true, in terms of safety, we've come a long way, from where we started from, because when we started Jumia, cash was king, and cash is still king, but then most customers, because there's no trust element, they didn't know who Jumia was. They wanted to receive, the goods and pay on delivery. So we had lots of cases, in terms of having to vet every single person we want to work with, and that took many days to make sure that the riders who are going to our customers, can be trusted with the money that we're bringing in. And it also involved, handling money in bulk. And I think at that point we were leveraging heavily on the agency networks that we had across the country. But in terms of security, having the online payment system has really helped, because today customers are able to self-authenticate their transactions. When you're paying via mobile money, you cannot have anyone, make the transaction on your behalf. You have to input your password. When you're using your card transactions today, you have to input also a one-time PIN that is linked to your phone number. So that has really improved even the trust element that our customers today have for us, has also improved the safety of our riders when they're making deliveries to customers.
Okay, really great insights. And Joy, I wonder whether you can also share a little bit. A long time ago, the queues in banking halls, was something to talk about. But nowadays, you sometimes find that you can go a month, 2 months, 3 months without having to actually physically go to your bank branch. Talk to us about the journey and the proposition you then offer to equity customers.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Waihiga, for that question. We'll all agree that for the longest time, we always probably feared to go to the banks because of the lines. But came technology, and technology actually came to sort a lot of some of the challenges that our consumers actually did have and our merchants. We all will agree that even COVID, it also changed a lot on how we actually undertook our activities when it comes to financial, activities, and even sending and receiving money. So the bank has, brought in a different kind of technology. We have, of course, the ones that began, which are internet and mobile banking. That meant that you could be able to send funds to anyone, anyone across any bank, with the RTGS and SWIFTs, and a different payment or the different options when it comes to internet banking. We have the mobile banking, which at the comfort of your home or your office, you can be able to just get your phone, send money, pull it from any mobile wallet, send it to your own, your own account or any other account in the same ecosystem or outside the ecosystem. So for sure, there's been a lot of change when it comes to that. Then came e-commerce 2020, where I think we all were not probably leaving our houses and offices. We were requesting for shopping, at the comfort of our homes, because we were afraid of, the health concerns that were there when we, during the COVID time. COVID is not yet over completely. We hope we get out of the woods soon. But then there came the e-commerce space, which has really grown, and we saw a significant rise in the adoption, which was over 100% from a bank's perspective. And the growth when it comes to it came to working with more new aggregators across Africa, the likes of Jumia and many others who have worked closely with Equity Bank. So e-commerce grew significantly. We no longer, yes, we still have people who go to the bank. Yes, then they are there and they believe, they probably have their reasons on why they'd want to do that. But we saw a significant movement, and the customer preference was more on the digital and online platforms. So Waihiga, yes, a lot has changed when it comes to the traditional methods of banking and movement into the online space.
Thank you for giving us that comprehensive summary of the journey that has been on the tech in regards to tech and online payments and the banking sector. And I want to thank everyone who's writing in. I'm seeing a lot of you writing in from different counties, letting us know where you're watching us from. Some of you even from, I see someone here from Washington, D.C., from Saudi Arabia as well. What have been your experiences using online payments? Let us know wherever you're watching us from, and I'll read your feedback even as we continue. Felix Nzioki has an interesting question that maybe Joy will answer the next time we come round. He's asking, what of PayPal, the risks in it? Accounts being locked with cash due to termination of terms of service. Felix will see if I can get an answer for you on that one. But Ronald, how have you navigated the risks and assuring customers that pesa haitapotea if they make payments through your portal or on your advice?
Actually, our systems, all of them, they're automated, one. So once a customer makes a payment, they normally receive an alert as a receipt in terms of an SMS alert. And then also the landlord can be able to see from a mobile app who has paid, who has a balance, who is in their house, how long they've been there, who is given a notice. So basically, one of the things which we've made sure is we've made sure the communication between the mobile apps and the back-end systems is purely encrypted using international standards, so that to enable the communication to be secure. And number two, we make sure that everything that happens, you get a notification just to alert you. If the landlord account gets, money comes in, they get a notification. And then number two, we also linked the account with the bank. So the money moves straight from their mobile wallet, goes straight to the bank in a secure channel to be able to enable that movement of money within less than a second. From once the customer pays to the money sitting at their bank. So one of the ways we've done is to ensure that we adhere to international standards. Number two, we encrypt all their data to make sure it's safe. Number three, we have communication. Anything happening, you get an alert to tell you that this transaction has happened. In case there is an issue, that person can be able to see from their phone and see there is a transaction which is missing from here. And then number three, you cannot be able to change or amend anything without approval in this platform. So it ensures that anything that happens in the platform has been and must be approved by a third-party person that is in the office in terms of changing your bank account or in terms of changing where the money is sitting. But for the tenants, so far, we've not had any issue of fraud, because all the systems, just once we automate everything in the system, it means that unless the system itself has a fault, the chances of having something hitting the platform is very low. So that ensures that maximum security on our platform. And also number four, our systems are hosted in a secure environment. For you to be able to access it, you need to be within our network, our secure network. So that ensures that the customer data is protected, their money is safe, and then nobody can tamper with the data.
Comprehensive indeed. Let me allow Nelly also to give us a view of how to secure online payments, because I'm sure there are many watching wondering, we can talk the way we talk, but there are a lot of challenges out there. The internet sometimes can look like the World Wide West. What's Jumia doing to secure online payments?
Yeah, so Jumia has created a platform to, first of all, make payments very seamless across any of the Jumia platform that you would interact with, whether in Kenya or across Africa. And this platform is called Jumia Pay. So within Jumia Pay, we have integrated several different players in the market, Equity being one of them. And we did this to make sure that we're taking security enhancements to the next level. So today we do know that all the entities we work with are regulated, and they have to reach a certain standard, and they have a way of working that the central bank is expecting of them. On top of that, we have fraud checks that are happening within our system, as well as we've also ensured that every single transaction has to be verified by the user before we can allow it to go through. And we're also able to from our customer, we interact with them to understand what, how their behavior is on the online platform. And we do know, times like this during June anniversary or Black Friday, we know how customers spend, and we're able to track that to even see what kind of transactions are very suspicious. Another thing that we've done around just making sure that customers are having are safe when they're transacting online is being part of the discussion and educating our customers around that. And as much as all the payment platforms are caring about the safety of the customer, safety begins with us. Some of the things you can do to ensure that you're safe online is making sure that you're not using public Wi-Fi networks to do online transactions. You're making sure if you can even use prepaid cards so that it's not linked to your bank account. And there are several steps that you can do to make sure that you stay safe even as we protect you.
Okay, and I'll come back to hear from you more about what consumers out there can do on their own, imagining that the companies they're dealing with have maybe not gone through the rigors of sort of putting in checks and measures online that yours has, and Equity Bank as well. And Equity being, I would say, arguably Africa's largest bank, I'm sure from a security perspective, Joy, you don't play around. Walk us through those safety features and any features that you think it's good for our viewers to know today.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, it's true. Equity Bank has taken various steps when it comes to security, and we also are big in sensitization and speaking to our daily consumer and merchants. So from a consumer perspective, we always will want to tell you that do not share your personal card information, do not share your PIN with any individual. In case you have lost your card at any given time, please reach out to your bank, notify the bank that you have lost the card. We'll be able to block it from our end, and of course the risk measures are put in place. Also, we are able to when it comes from a risk perspective, we're able to sensitize our merchants and let them know that it's important to have the 3D security on the cards. So most of our card payments and majority of our card payments are 3D secure. This means that the consumer who's making the payment has authenticated this transaction, has put in an equivalent of a PIN that is dynamic, that comes to the phone number that is registered to that card. And therefore, we have been able to take a number of measures when it comes to that. We'd also always want to tell our consumers that at any given point, it's important when you open a bank account, you can ask the team at the branch to ensure that you're able to be connected to the alerts that come in when your card is being used on any platform. This therefore means you'll get an SMS, you get an email, so you're able to, from your own personal visibility, see that probably this card has been used. You can be able to quickly make a call. We also have a very enhanced dispute management process that allows any card holder to be able to call us, indicate that probably your card has been used fraudulently, and we're able to take it through the security team and see how best we can be able to handle that through a proper dispute process. So those are some of the steps when it comes to speaking and teaching our merchants and our merchants and consumers when it comes to the digital hygiene issues on e-commerce.
You call them digital hygiene. I like that. Very interesting. Okay. Thanks for everyone who's sending in their messages. Let me see here. Someone's asking, ask your guest to speak about hacking. Some of us fear that. Somebody else here says, I'm old school, but I do stuff online. This is Musa Zul Yakub, and I'm old school. So I book online, but I pay on delivery. Okay, very interesting. Dennis Rollins says, wisdom detected with your panel. Please keep the questions coming and keep sending in your messages, comments, questions. Chat section there, just write it down there, and I will read it as soon as we can. Ronald, coming back to you and understanding, what do you think the future of online payments looks like from your perspective? What is it your business desires moving forward that maybe isn't available now, but would make the ease of doing business from your perspective easier?
I believe online payments are going to make life very easy going forward. One of the things which we want to look at is to be able to enable banks to accept, to adopt more of technology so that when you do make payments, your systems or your third-party systems are informed immediately, instead of having to manually check on your statement to be able to see that there is a payment which has come in. I think one of the ways which M-Pesa has really worked effectively is when you're booking, like, say, for example, you're booking a flight. When you just go online and make payment, whether you're using mobile money, that payment reflects within less than a second. I would really want to see the same thing happen when you're paying you just pay to the bank using your mobile banking. You just pay to an account, and instantly your flight is booked there and there, and you get your receipt. So at the moment, we are relying more on mobile money, less of the banking sector, except just for a few banks who've already started accepting real-time transactions. Because one of the things, if the notification is happening in real time from the bank, once you make a payment, it is very easy for you to be able to get a receipt. Because gone are the days where you have to go to a caretaker to ask them, I need a receipt for my payments. Nowadays, the system informs you. So I think the banking sector has really adopted card payments, but I would really want to see the account payments get notifications on our side, especially for big value transactions. Because for us, the rent starts off from as low as 1,000 shillings to as high as 300,000-400,000 shillings per unit. So basically, some of the transactions you cannot do using the mobile money options, or even sometimes the card have limits where you cannot go past specific limits. So based on that, if you're able to do a simple bank transfer, which has higher limits, and that transaction hits in real time and updates the systems and issues a receipt to the customer, and now he can walk away comfortably with a transaction confirmation that the payment has been completed. Now that is what I would really want to see in the future. But I believe some of the banks are working on this, and I'm happy to say that soon we might have this happening.
Okay, I don't know if Joy wants to quickly respond to that.
I'm happy to mention that the instant payment notification that Ronald is talking about is something that is an API that can be integrated to any third party, any app or website that can be able to give you instant notifications for every payment that your consumer or anyone who goes to your platform is able to make a payment. So let's say today you're a tour and travel agent and you want to see probably a breakdown. Probably someone is paying for a holiday through Lipa Pole Pole, and you want to do your reconciliations very fast. Mm-hmm. So you're able to see a notification that breaks down all the maybe 4 installments that were made up to the completion of payment. So you're happy to mention that we can be able to support you with that.
Okay, thank you. And I believe Ronald has had that. Nelly, coming to you, let me read 2 messages before I allow you to weigh in. Eric Wahome says, it is true, online payments have really advanced. While Margaret Ondeng says, great insights on online payments. We can all attest to the various advantages it has over traditional methods, from instant payments to customer convenience, you name it. Okay. Nelly, traditional methods of payment, are they long gone, or do you still see a hybrid format as the best? What does the future look like in your view? So
I do think it's going to take time to get rid of traditional forms of payment, and how we modernize those traditional payments is actually in the features that we put in. So we could bring those traditional payments, into the online space as well. One of the things that I was explaining to my mother about, things that we call BNPL, buy now, pay later, and I said, yeah, you could now, if we are able to find, very good partners in the market, we could do this, that people can now buy on Jumia and then pay later or Lipa Pole Pole. Then my mom tells me, oh, that's like higher purchase in our days, right? So, this is simply how, it's happening. And in some of our other markets, what we see is people will come and, want to select prepaid items or items that are locked to prepayments because of vendor preference, and they choose to go to an agent network in order to make their payment there within 24 to 48 hours. So in the end, it's to support online payments, we need to go to where the customers are, and it's going to take a lot of, making sure that we meet our customers' promise every single time, building that trust in order to blend the two.
Okay. A question has come in that I want Joy to look at. Peter Omulo is asking and saying, great insights from your panel this evening. Could you please ask them about cross-border payments? I guess the possibilities, the challenges and limitations. Joy, we could start with you on that one.
All right, thank you very much for that question. When it comes to cross-border payments, I could put it as, maybe to just explain to the viewer who probably does not understand fully what it means. It just means that you can be able to make, you're in Kenya here today and you want to make a payment on a platform that sits in the US. That means it's a payment that is from this jurisdiction to another jurisdiction. So based on what is available on card and through the payment gateways that Equity Bank is able to avail to you, you can be able to make such payments. When it comes to cross-border, there are many options, including the invoicing solution, which comes with the payment gateway. So cross-border payments are actually being done in the country. We have seen one of our, a large mobile network, talking about that, and actually, having a lot of bringing out that to the consumers and trying to say that you can be able to make payments globally, because now the world is a global village. You can be able to do any transaction anywhere you are with whatever payment option that you choose as a consumer.
Okay.
It's a possibility.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for responding to the viewer there. I don't know whether, Ronald, you want to say anything on the same, even as you tell us, do online payment options in any way impact the overall customer experience? Do you think it offers a better customer experience?
Definitely, Waihiga. It means anytime you introduce online payments, it's very easy. So the simplicity of it, the convenience of it, it makes the customer actually make a stress-free payment, or maybe an order. If you're making an order, say from Jumia, imagine when you are told to go and pay to the bank and come back and continue with your order. You see, it becomes another complex thing. But now you are told, just click a button, and money is taken from your bank account and shipped to the supplier, and supplier gets you the commodity you're making. It makes your life very easy. It becomes like 1, 2, 3 for you. If you're paying your rent and you just need to log into a portal and you have all the payment options available to you, it makes your life very easy. You don't need to worry about what I need to plan for a day to go and do this. It's something you can do at the convenience of your home. Say, for example, you have just say for half of your rent, and you need to pay. Guess what? You just need to log into your computer or go to your USSD menu, just dial a menu, and pay that small amount you have, so that by the time the landlord is coming and telling you, boss, you've not paid your rent, you have something to show for that. You can now say, I have already paid half of it. And this is actually encouraging more people to pay. You remember during the pandemic, most people, they lost their jobs. They were unable to pay. So basically what we came in to tell them is, now you can pay your rent pole. And now with that, we are getting to see most landlords are collecting over 100% of their rental income, just by giving them a payment plan. So with that convenience of having to be able to pay at the comfort of your phone, it makes you make the process of being willing to pay become easier. So most people are willing to pay, unlike before, where most people were unable. Because say, for example, you're going to deposit to the bank, and you meet someone and tells you, boss, can we go for a drink somewhere? You see, that time, if you have an online payment option, you would have paid and you've forgotten about it. So I believe it's something very, very good, and it enhances now more. It makes people collect more and makes people pay more.
Okay, and Nelly, I might ambush you with this one and enjoy as well, but it's a question from a viewer. We know there's been a lot of discussion around cryptocurrencies and whether that could be part of the future. Odell's Livingston is asking, could your panelists share their views on the central bank digital currencies proposal, please? CBDC's wave is picking up across the world, lots of opportunities and risks as well. What if one day I could buy a product of Jumia using 2 Bitcoins, for example? just for discussion's sake?
Yeah, that would be
Is that
nice.
a discussion you're having internally as a company?
It is something that, our customers have brought up a lot from our side, and it's something that we would love to explore in the confines, of course, of the law and what we're allowed to do or not. And I think the two things that still, are a bit wishy-washy when it comes to cryptocurrency is all about, how do we make sure that our anti-money laundering policies are actually being respected and that consumer data is safe? So, and how do we make sure that, the money that is being held in cryptocurrency is actually safe and secure? And if, for example, that crypto goes under, as we've seen with some of them, or if that, crypto exchange network actually falls, what happens to people's money? And those questions are still, they're still up in the air today as other crypto, as other crypto coins are, developing tools around that. I do think the future would probably have this if those points, contentious points, are answered.
And you've really spoken about the situation. I mean, it's been a tough last month for anyone who's bought into cryptocurrencies. So I think Odero was brave asking this question. I don't know, Joy, any thoughts on this?
Maybe just to add, I think Nelly has done a good job in responding to that. Maybe I'll just pick the question on the CBDC and the central bank digital currency. We can see our regulator opened up a discussion paper requesting all the parties in the financial ecosystem to just give a response on what they think about the central bank digital currency. And mainly, I think what they're trying to do is to avoid the anonymity that comes to the digital currency. And of course, giving a difference between CBDC and crypto are two different things. CBDC is just where the central bank is saying they are thinking, they have not gone straight with it yet, that they want to introduce a digital currency that is equivalent to what we use on mobile money, where I can be able to send you, having had an account probably with central bank, I can send you, I can send money from here to DRC, and I tell you I've sent you money through an equivalent of what I would have sent to you domestically or through cash. So it's just it's bringing the transparency when it comes to the digital currency and seeing do we have an opportunity for that. So currently, when you talk about crypto at this point in time, we know our regulator has not yet opened up to that, and then our central bank. So it's something that is a disruption, of course, globally, and then it's something in other jurisdictions that is already moving forward. So I would not want to speak so much about this cryptocurrency, but let's see what the future holds.
Okay, thank you for that, Ronald. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that tied around the question of the future of online payments, and you already did speak to this earlier, but I don't know if you also had a point on the same.
I think for cryptocurrency, I'm a bit of a huge supporter. Unfortunately, the last few months have not been good for crypto guys. But the technology itself, the blockchain technology is very good since the data is being stored in the public. So nobody has 100% access to tamper with the data. We're actually thinking in the future of incorporating people to be able to pay their rent using Bitcoin and the like. Since we want inclusivity, to have somebody have all the possible ways. But personally, I know it will rise again, the cryptocurrency.
You sound like a real investor.
I'm not a huge investor, but I'm an investor of it because of the technology behind it.
Okay.
If it's stored in the public domain, and some countries have already started adopting the technology officially as a currency. So as you can see, people are coming to see that this is something good. So in the future, I believe it's going to be something which most people can use to make payments, whether it's cross-border or they can transfer money in between. Because for me, it's a very effective way of storing money.
Okay, all right. And Nelly, now help us educate viewers. Tips, do's and don'ts of online payments. What would you say those are?
So, yeah, the first one, I think Joy had intimated to some of those tips. One of those things is you should enable notifications, when you're signing up for your card or for your bank account or mobile money, make sure that you're signing up in the phone that you're using, that anytime money goes out, you're able to get a notification on that, either on your phone or email or both, just in case your phone is stolen and you don't have access to it. I think the second thing around that is, especially when you're using your wallet services, especially the mobile money wallet, and now we're having all these apps coming up in the super apps, make sure that the Wi-Fi network that you're using is actually reliable and it's safe to use. So if you can avoid to use your wallets as well as your bank accounts on a public Wi-Fi, please do. I think another thing that you can do, that especially if you're if you are a bit hesitant in using your card information online, you can go to any Equity Bank and get a prepaid card. And what this simply means is you just load the money that you want. When you want to shop online, put that money, and anytime if somebody was to get access to your card, there will be no money in there, and it's not connected to your bank account. I think one of the developments we're seeing in other countries is the use of virtual cards and disposable virtual cards. So in this instance, maybe in the near future we'll start seeing this as well in Kenya, where people can create virtual cards and immediately you use it, the card is disposed completely and a new one is created. So that creates a bit more safety for you. I think another thing is also being sure about the website you're visiting. So it's a simple check that you can check, when you're typing, for example, www.jumia.co.ke. It's also checking just before the www, is it an HTTP site or HTTPS, meaning that, it's a secure site. And one of the things that personally I also just don't do because they're too long, is reading the data privacy policies for the websites you're visiting. I do know they're long, just like the T&Cs, but those are really there to see if you're protected as a consumer. And data privacy is quite big. We've seen companies maliciously using customer data to profit from that. You want a very clear data privacy policy, and you can always call any company, ask them, what does this mean? So you're sure that you're protected. So these are some of the things you can do for yourself.
Okay, thank you. Very comprehensive. Joy, you wanna add to that tips? And even for those who want to get into online, to open up online payment options for their businesses, feel free to speak to either group.
All right. I think I'll speak to mainly the SME, micro SME, who's watching us today and probably wants to get into the online space and doesn't know where to start. I think Nelly has done a good job in explaining the do's and don'ts, and of course we've talked about the hygiene issues when it comes to not sharing your personal information, which is very key when it comes to e-commerce. If you're just beginning, it's important for you to just do an analysis and check if you want to get into e-commerce. Where are your customers? We know, I'll speak about a digital report recently that spoke about the Kenyan consumer who spends about 4 hours on their phone, either researching or communicating or, doing various things online. So the first thing a business would probably ask itself is, are you where your customers are? And secondly, do you have the payment options that would suit that kind of consumer who wants to probably visit your website or wants to you probably have a store, but you can be able to, do deliveries and just like what Jumia is probably doing. Are you a warehouse? Are you a marketplace? So really, it's just looking at your customers, sensitizing if you're in business, training your customers on some of these risks, ensuring that the two-factor authentication that we've just spoke about is there, 3D security, and training your customers in and out, day in, day out, on not sharing their data, not picking any call from anyone who purports to be calling from your merchant, your business, you as a business. So it's just a lot of training and then engaging a lot in speaking to our customers really day to day.
Okay, thank you for that. I have a question here specifically for you, Ronald. Abigail Matheka wants to know, how will the retail system help me manage my portfolio from the diaspora? Relatives are not to be trusted anymore. Very interesting. Ronald.
Basically, one of the best clients we have are from the diaspora, because one of the ways they manage is they have trusted their family to manage their portfolio. Basically, that is one of the mistakes most of them have done. because they get to collect 0 or maybe to 10% of the income which they've invested in. However, with our platform, you're able to see, is there someone who's coming into my house? If the house is vacant, how long has it been vacant for? If somebody comes in and they get to see from their mobile app or from their laptop that there's someone inside that house, if that somebody pays, the money goes straight to their bank account. So basically, they are able to see the collections in real time. Personally, I stayed in a house for an entire 1 year without the owner of the house ever finding out I was living there. How the property manager used to collect the money and put in his pocket. Why? The landlord could never find out there was someone in the house unless they come physically. Now that when Silco came in and created transparency to be able to see who is in your house at what time, who has given a notice to vacate at what date will they vacate. Basically with that, you're able to manage your portfolio. Even if you are outside the country, you don't need necessarily to visit to be able to know who has paid your rent or not. We just give you the comprehensive data reports showing you who has paid what, who has come in what is their ID number, what is their credit score. We actually score the tenants to be able to know what kind of a person you're having in your house. Because you don't want to have thugs staying in your house, then you are in a situation whereby you are unable to explain. So we normally score them to be able to know what kind of a person and if they will be able to pay your rent. So basically with the reports we're giving you, you can be able to project, say for example, the next 3-4 months, how much revenue am I expecting from this? So you'll find your relative, they're just there to maintain the status of the house in terms of is it clean, is it well maintained? But in terms of the tenant management, in terms of the payment management, in terms of communication, you can actually create a ticket to the tenant and vice versa. Tenant can create a ticket to tell you my water is leaking. And you're able to see from there that this thing has been sorted or not by your fundi. So basically, we're just creating that form of transparency where you are in the world to be able to receive your money safely, to be able to communicate safely, to be able to see your portfolio and manage your portfolio from just the comfort of your phone or laptop or even the feature phone.
Okay, thank you for that. Nelly, as we begin to wind down, what's your proposition for why people should continue to feel comfortable using online payments and using your online sites moving forward if they haven't started doing so already?
Yeah, so I think the biggest proposition around this is that safety is something that, especially for online payment platforms, is very high. There's a lot of regulations that's going around there and lots of people checking this. Recently we've been seeing, lots of the central bank has been licensing lots of entities in order to make sure that anyone who's touching customer payments has a secure and safe system that is reliable. So there's a lot more that is happening and lots of eyes that are watching the online payment space more than the offline payment space today, I would say. And there's a lot of rules that are governing all of these things. And banking on that and jumping on that, Jumia today is leveraging on that to make sure that our customers feel very safe and secure when they're using our platforms today. And that is very key because we do know that if you have a bad experience, with your payment, with your card, with your mobile money transaction on Jumia, you're not going to come back on our platform. So I think this should give you that kind of confidence. And recently with our payment platform, Jumia Pay, we've also managed to streamline almost 98% of our transactions today so that anytime, anything goes wrong with your order, the refunds would happen almost instantly and you receive them back to either your card or your mobile money wallet. So we're making strides around this and we're listening to our customers around that and we'll continue the conversation. But that's one of the things that I would like to assure customers that we're going over and above, to make sure that your transactions are safe and secure. And we're putting, every single partner we're working with, we're putting them to the test and to the sit and saying, is your payment safe and secure? Is your gateway good enough for our customers?
Okay, thank you, Nelly, for that. And that's actually a good final point there. If we have time, I might throw in one more. But Ronald, what's your final proposition to those watching? Why should they trust that going onto your site and swiping their card or sending an M-Pesa payment will guarantee that they will receive services?
Personally, I've been in the IT sector, in the banking sector for the last 9 years. I've really invested in terms of getting to learn the most safe ways to transact. So the platform we built is based on experience, based on doing research to be able to make sure that whoever transactions you do, whether it's from your mobile money or whether it's from your card or whether it's from your bank, it's safe and it's validated. And one of the things which we've noted is most customers, the most hackers or most evil people will target you as a consumer. They'll not target the bank. They'll target you. So they'll try to come up with stories to tell you, you know, there's something happening on your phone, go to this, press this button, whatever is sent to you, send me. One of the things you should avoid is one, whoever is giving you a story, if they are telling you to go to your phone and do something, please question that. Because one of the things a bank or whoever or a mobile money provider will not call you to ask for your PIN or for anything which you're going to be sent. Because most of the people, they put very simple passwords. You put your year of birth as your PIN. You put your 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a study which showed 70% of the people, they put 1, 2, 3, 4 as a password or 4 zeros. So those are the common things most people, they look at. So make sure your password is a bit complex. Put your something, your student ID number back in the day, something which nobody can guess because you are the primary target. So basically we advise our customers, as you're doing your transactions, always ensure you have complex passwords or complex PINs to be able to transact. And also whoever is calling you to ask you to pay, to make a payment, to pay for your rent through a different channel than the known one, please, if you need to question it, and if you're not sure, you can always call us or you can call your bank just to confirm, why am I being told to do this and this and this on this? So you are the primary target for any person who is trying to hack into your account. So security always starts from you personally. That's what I would tell the audience who are listening in.
Thank you very much for that, Ronald. And Joy, we wrap up with you. And if for those who want to get some online payment options for their businesses, how can they find you? Who do they need to call? Where do they need to go to?
All right. I think I'll first start with saying that Equity Banks believes in transforming lives, giving dignity, and expanding opportunities for wealth creation. So we are very ready to support you and your businesses. Do not underestimate yourself. No matter what kind of business you're doing, you can be able to get into the online space. Feel free to reach out to us. You can walk to any of our branches in Kenya or outside Kenya. Come in and you can write to us at info@equitybank.co.ke. You can reach out to us on 0763 000 000. Just walk into a branch and just tell any of the agents there or anyone who is in the relationship team that you want to get to the online space. You can state that you want to start and get into e-commerce. They'll guide you. We'll be there to hold your hand and help you grow your business. Thank you.
And this is anywhere across the country?
Yes, and in Tanzania, Uganda, DRC, we are also in Rwanda, Sudan. So feel free to reach out to any of those countries or any of our branches across Kenya.
If they're too far from the branch, who do they call?
They can be
or email or a website?
Yes, info@equitybank.co.ke. Just indicate you want to get into e-commerce or the online space, but state e-commerce specific. They'll reach out to us and we'll be able to support you, guide you, and show you all the payment options that we have that can be able to grow your business.
All right, fair enough. Ronald, yours is silco.com.
Yes, www.silco.com, or you can email us at info@silco.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. And for you, Nelly?
You can simply, actually, for all those watching from Facebook, just search for Jumia Kenya, type it there, and someone will support you.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's where we're going to leave it at. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in, whichever part of the country, the world, or locally you have joined us from. And let me thank my panelists once again who've taken time from their busy schedules to be here. We have had Nelly Movin, Head of Financial Services East Africa at Jumia. We've also had Ronald Mutuku. He's the CEO of Silco Limited, and Joy Courier, e-commerce merchant manager, Equity Bank Limited. So many options in terms of online payments. Get educated, learn more, use it for your business, use it to transact. There are so many benefits, but there are also challenges. And I believe my competent panelists here have walked us through those challenges and how you can avoid being a victim of online fraudsters, so be aware of that. Remember, we do this every Thursday, 5 p.m. on the Citizen TV Facebook page, so we're going to be back here again next week, Thursday, with another exciting topic as we focus on financial literacy matters that should matter to you as you improve your life, your business, your startup, whatever it is that you're involved in. So we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. My name is Waihiga Mwaura. Goodbye for now, and thank you once again for having tuned in. Kwaheri.